everyone. My name is Michael Goff, and I'm Principal Product Marketing here at Revenera, and I'd like to welcome you to today's webinar, Unlock the Power of Monetization Analytics, Drive Growth, Renewals, and Customer Success. Today, we're joined by Revenera's Victor DeMarines, VP of Product Management, and Anuradha Nagendran, Director of Engineering, who will explore how actionable analytics are transforming software monetization strategies. Before we get started, though, let's go over a few housekeeping details. First, today's discussion will be roughly 30 to 35 minutes long. If you have any questions or comments, please add them in the chat tab, and we'll try to answer them as we go along or at the end if time allows. If we don't get to your questions, don't worry. We will follow up with you individually after the event. Also, please be sure to check out the Docs tab, where we've shared a number of resources relevant to today's topic. Finally, we will be sending you a link to the recording in the next 48 hours or so. So with that, let's get started. Victor?
Well, thank you. Thanks, Michael. Glad to be here with Anuradha as well. We work pretty closely together with customers. So we're going to talk about monetization analytics. We're going to talk about its value and the insights you can gain from it. And, where I wanted to start this discussion is, the drivers. We will review the framework that we set up, and I think most software companies would set up to kind of get insights from monetization analytics. Anuradha is going to walk through some interesting demonstration and some use cases from her experience with customers. And we'd like to come back together just to talk to you about the roadmap, where we're headed on this journey. So let's go to kind of the drivers. And what's really interesting is the data set that we're talking about. So when I say monetization analytics, what you need to know if you're not familiar with Revenera is we have a software monetization platform. And that encompasses everything from your customers' entitlement data to the actual transactions for allowing an end user to access software for their particular tier. It also embodies software distribution, as well as other types of licensing models. So it's a powerful set of data, and it even includes real-time usage information. And that's why we think monetization analytics is a perfect place to kind of get that 360 view of your end customer, because they're interacting with these applications that you're charging for and they pay for. They're using them in very unique ways. And the data itself is showing you what's happening within the application. And so that's certainly very powerful. With that kind of data set and some of the data that we're going to review, there's some obvious reporting and some insights that are, I would say, first up in terms of priority around what people are looking for from monetization analytics. They're looking for renewal risk and retention, getting better forecasting of that, getting more insight to that information, whether you're a customer success person or a salesperson or renewal person. They're looking for upsell opportunities, especially as more and more software publishers have moved into subscription, and the usage data becomes really the king in terms of the data itself, and trying to decipher that information to determine, is there an upsell opportunity within an account? That's certainly a big driver with monetization analytics. And then aligning price with value, that talks about the monetization strategy you as a software company may have deployed. And does the data suggest that there's gaps there? Are there other ways that you can monetize? Maybe moving from a traditional user base to a consumption base would be a good example of that. And then ultimately, the benefit of having insights generated through the monetization data is predictability. Software companies want to be able to predict their revenue. They're always looking for insights that give a more accurate picture of that. And then because we're talking about end customers using software, they also want to understand what they're paying for and what the value that they're getting from the software itself. And the analytics can help drive that as well. So let's talk a little bit about the framework. And it's a busy slide, but I think it's important. There are a couple of key components here, or key concepts that I wanted to get across. When we talk about analytics, first thing that comes to mind is going into a product, looking at the visualization, looking at the trends or the KPIs, and that's important. The other piece of it, and especially when we as Revenera, we get a software monetization platform that's being used by large organizations that have intelligent devices, cloud applications, complex hybrid and on-premise type applications. It's also important that the data is accessible in a consistent way because they also have their business intelligence solutions in place, their own warehouses that the monetization data is an important component of. And they want to join that data with their support information, their marketing information, their own product usage information. So what we've made sure in our own framework is that we centralize this data in a modern warehouse. We chose Snowflake as a partner. That actually, there was some really good overlap with that in our customer base. And we also made sure that we constructed the data set to be consistent with the different entities that are important with monetization. The entitlements themselves, which devices or users are having access to that software, even scenarios where the software might be disconnected, right? Running in an air-gapped environment and the data is being synced at some frequency, supporting that information and giving it kind of a namespace so that we can generate the analytics, but also access the data in a consistent way. So for example, if I'm a large organization, I already have a warehouse like Snowflake, and I have already got a business intelligence initiative, I might plug directly into our direct share capability, which will allow a read-only view of the monetization data, and to have that securely shared without having you build an application to get that data or having other hops to get that information into your system is really powerful. But you also will probably have programmatic needs. So think about an application presenting to the end user what they're using, or a licensing portal providing the latest status on a particular device. That's where you would probably utilize a data access REST API. And so we support that within the framework as well. And then finally, and what you're going to see here, and Anuradha will show a little bit later, is the dashboard itself that's within product and allows multiple personas to kind of access this information and get their insights, as well as schedule some more automated workflow to push that data out for the needs. And since we're talking about personas, I listed some of the key ones that certainly want to and have great need for accessing monetization analytics. When you look at the product manager, in most organizations, they're aggressive with data. They want more information to be able to optimize their own roadmap planning. One of the key things that we see with license capability is the detailed license usage information, which are telling you what customers are doing with the products themselves, but actually the features. So by having that access, you can start to look at feature adoption. And certainly the other big use cases is anything around customer engagement. And I would say when we first rolled out our own analytics solution a few years back, one of the key sort of set of personas that just was giving us a lot of questions and a lot of good feedback was the customer success and the renewals kind of persona. Because if you think about monetization data and the different complexities of getting actual adoption data in front of a user, there's pent-up demand for that data, quite frankly. So when they were able to kind of come into a dashboard, filter for the accounts that they own as a customer success manager, and be able to see the actual adoption with that account, or in some cases actually package that data as a report that they could share with their end customers who are also starved for information to make sure they understand what they're using. This was a key persona. And this also fed into the renewals piece of it as well, because we're all, I think most software companies have some level of subscription, and renewal rate is a key metric, and understanding what the risks are well ahead of that renewal is a big driver for analytics. So that persona is certainly very important. And as most software companies are probably with analytics, we're on our own journey here. When you look at the different steps for taking advantage of data and getting insights, you're starting with kind of the basic reporting that's giving you that understanding of the past, to digging a little bit deeper with it by having that historical information and being able to troubleshoot and look at the adoption. And even from a governance perspective, we have a lot of large organizations that need to understand the state of a particular user license and their system, because they have governance requirements to track that. And then getting into more predictive and cognitive analytics. And examples of that would be not just reports anymore, but being able to interact with natural language into a set of data and build some insights based on the information that's being offered. and then having that transition into a much more automated experience. Think about the use case of an end user coming to a license portal, they're renewing their subscription, but right next to them is a recommendation based on the actual adoption by that user. Hey, we think you're better served with this tier or this product or this feature set. And that would be certainly the automated use case that we want to be into. So, let me, I'm going to transition this now to Anuradha. She's going to share with you what some of these insights are and some of the customer experience. And then we'll come back and talk about kind of our roadmap. Anuradha, to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Rick. So as we explained how we give importance to the personas and the use cases, how we consider that, we are going to walk through some of the use cases which are very key for our customers, which are the adoption trends and how the usage and denials help across, and also the notification service, which he talked about, notifying customers when certain threshold are reached, right? So first of all, why trend report is so important? How it helps the organization. That is something which we all know about it. And I would just want to iterate that for a product manager, right, for the product management team, the trend report will really help in forecasting the strategic planning. It helps in improve decision making with all the data-driven insights. When you consider the sales, it would help you in identifying the opportunities for the sales. And for the customer success manager or the renewals, it would really help you for better customer engagement and establishing transparency so that you can plan better for your renewals or upgrades or for your resource allocation internally, right, to talk to your customers. Overall, these are some of the very high-level benefits that our customers would see depending on the adoption trend. Let me walk through some of the examples of the adoption trend that we do have in our system. So FlexNet operations do provide the adoption trend for the key entities that we recognize. Some of all these are the entitlements, devices, accounts, users, and the downloads. I will walk through a couple of examples here. One is the user, which I have picked here. As a product manager, right, you would really want to understand how your customer base is growing. And it is not just your customer base straight away, like how it grows you want to see here, but also there are various types of users that we recognize. So it can be your customer who come to you and purchase a subscription. It can be someone who really just purchase a subscription for a trial basis called the self-registered user. It can be your own users who are all the publisher or the producer users, or it can be your channel partners to whom you are engaging with to sell your products, right? So you can really, the one that you see in the left side, the donut, gives you the split across how your customer or the user base are, in fact, across all the 4 types. And the one right, you see the graph, it actually gives you the cumulative trend of how your customer base across multiple types growing. In fact, this you can apply filter on top of these graphs and understand by region-wise how the adoption trend, how your customer base is growing, that which helps you to identify where the expansion is strongest and where it is really lacking to make the right strategic decision.
Anuradha, I just wanted to add to that graph, because you and I were working with a customer, and you mentioned one of the entities was self-service users, and our solution has an end user portal, and it was a major metric for this particular customer to see what the adoption of the self-service portal was, because adoption meant lowering the cost and the expense for supporting their customers, and just it was another powerful use case for being able to view that adoption and being able to view it across the different types of people. Just wanted to add that.
Yeah, the success story from our customer. Thanks, Vic. Thanks for adding it. I would like to pick one more example here, right? The next slide talks about the entitlement adoption trend. So once again, this entitlement adoption trend, or how your products are used by your customer, that is what this trend gives you, right? When I say how your products are sold to your customer, to be more precise there, right? So as a product manager, monitoring this adoption trend would really give you a confirmation on whether your new products are being adapted as you want. You get early visibility looking at this, because this may at the look here give you the entitlement trend itself, but you can filter down with the products that you want to get more insights on. One is on your new products itself, you can get and understand how it is performing in the market, any potential hurdles there. The other part is you can also look into how some of your products that are not doing well, maybe you can have a better strategy around that. Or you can also think of looking this as, say you want to deprecate certain products and you are promoting the new ones. So this trend will also show you how you are progressing in that, right? How you are progressing in getting customers using less of your deprecated products and adapting the new one more. So, and this insight also supports our sales engineers, enabling them to drill through into the subscription details. All these graphs are, you can drill through it. If you actually drill through it, you will get the details of all the entitlement account and further details on that, the raw data of what are these values are, in fact. So when you drill through it, you will get to know who are all your subscribers, and you will uncover more opportunities across similar companies or industries. And for the customer success management, it's very straightforward, right? For them, the increase in the customer trend is really giving them the signals that the relationship is healthy with their customers. When I say with their customers, you have filters provided in these trend reports where you can filter by account. For example, I, as a customer success manager, may be handling 5 accounts. I can just filter down those 5 accounts and check how my accounts are actually trending. Sorry about that. And conversely, if you actually see the declining trend, or you see the flat, you may also question yourself what happened. You may want to reach out to the customers proactively and see what is the reason there. It can be the usage, it has reached the usage plateau there, or the budget constraints, or shifting priorities. This will all give our customer success management people to engage early with our customers and address if there are any adoption gaps, and helps to reinforce the value and prevent churn. Moving on to the next piece of information that I want to talk about. This is something very much specific to our embedded services, where we would like to help our customers and their personas to really understand how their products are being adapted by their customers or activated by their customer, their devices, right? So when I say devices, it can be any of the equipments that our customers sell or license through our application. So this is really a no-brainer to say for the product management. It gives you how your product is adapted, the feature adoption and the popularity among all the products or features you offer, in fact. Identify which product have the highest active device count, or the activations, active activations, in fact, when I say, and it just tells you how these products or the adoptions fit in the market. It also helps you to monitor the growth or decline in the product usage over the time, and in turn helping you to make the certain roadmap decisions, in fact. And for renewal teams, definitely it's a very useful information, because product with decreasing active devices or a flat stagnant trend may signal a potential risk, and you will have an opportunity to identify it early in the stage and get engaged with your customers. And definitely for our sales team, sales personas, These trending products indicates where to focus on the sales and where the effort should go and how do you allocate your resources for these products. So these are some of the useful insights that we provide in terms of trending. Moving on to the next, which is really the entitlement growth and the renewals. We also have details about the active accounts and business regions to the left of the slide and the renewal rates to the right. Let me explain you about the active accounts and business region. So for the active accounts and business region, this is a table which is the detailed dashboard which tracks and visualizes the churn over time. And this helps producers gain insight into their customer retention KPIs. This helps them to identify the pattern or trend associated with customer departure. If you see here, you can really see number of active accounts and number of expired accounts. When we say expired accounts, an account which doesn't even have one active line item or entitlement associated with it. So this will impact their overall ARR, in fact. For example, I can say which product were most affected by this churn. You can drill down through this table and identify what are the products for which customer did not renew. So when did they churn? These are some of the details which you can. When did they churn? You can identify when was their last entitlement expired. So these are some of the insights that you get through this table, which will help you to build your plan for your further success journey. The renewal rate is also something which is popular, one of the most popular, I would say, and on demand we included it based on a couple of customer feedback. And this gives you a high-level summary of renewal performance across the global regions and time period. We have segregated today it by the quarters, and it does the breakdown renewal of the expiring volume by the quarter versus what are the successful renewals. And this will help you, this enables you for the data-driven decision making around customer retention and support resource allocation also. And the report identifies the trend over time, in fact. What is the trend over time for a given region, and highlights the area where renewal rates are strong and where you need improvements. And this will also gives the early warning where there is a potential churn and how can you actually drill down. You can always drill down these reports and get into the actual customers who are not renewing and take necessary actions. Moving on, I would like to talk about the usage and denials. The usage and denials are specifically built for our licensing service and dynamic monetization service. And this provides the insights into the causes and the patterns where requests to access licensed softwares were rejected. So in this graph, if you see, the main reason for the denials is insufficient feature count, or you can also see insufficient elastic token available, which means somebody is trying to access and the count is not enough, which indicates the demand is exceeding the current subscription. And there is straight away the opportunity for upselling. Similarly, if you see the next one would be the expired features. So if you see, expired features are about 25% here, which means customer has not renewed, and there is a opportunity for you to go back to customer and renew that. There is a missed renewal here. So all these insights will engage the renewal team to lead data-driven conversation with the customers and send proactive reminders, set up automated renewal reminders or enable auto renewal, you can actually act on it and reduce these, whatever you see here, right? The denial for the expired features. You can plan your next further steps, how to act on this. Moving on to the next section. This is the notification section, and this is also one of the very popular feature that our customers would like to use. In fact, many of our customers have been using this, and it's been very helpful. And this is the notification where these are the conditional notification which you can set up against any of the entities that we have and any of the threshold values of the fields that we do offer in the F&O services. So these conditional notification can turn analytics into actionable intelligence, and it will help in improving our customer experience. So for example, if you actually look at this graph right here, what we have done, we have set a conditional notification where if the usage of a certain feature is greater than 80%, send me a notification, alert me. So this alert is through email. We also support webhook notifications. An email is triggered to customers saying that for the given, you can actually choose whatever information you want to get through the email, right? For the given feature, for the given activation ID, for the given account, the usage has hit 80%. This is an alert to say that you are approaching your entitlement limit, subscription limit, and it's an opportunity for our renewals team or for our sales team to go and have a meaningful conversation with the customers and drive the upsell or renewal actions required there. So this is the data-driven decision-making. This helps in data-driven decision-making across the teams. Next, Vic will walk you through the roadmap items. Over to you, Vic.
Yeah, we'll do this together as well. So that was, I think, really helpful just to see the extent of data in some of those roles that we talked about early on, how they would be, the insight would help them in their jobs. And in 2025, it's all about making sure that we can personalize the data, making sure those adoption trends that Anuradha had just demonstrated were available to all the different entities. We brought in new usage information, including software delivery, which is a case that we support. We have a lot of customers who have on-premise assets or they have cloud-based assets, but they're pushing out software based on the entitlement to those end customers, and that becomes a really important data source for revenue recognition. And we're now bringing in real time elastic use data, which is like a consumption-based model, and very detailed information in real time because those use cases require quick access to that data. As we head into 2026, it's exciting because we're going to offer many more self-service feature sets to the analytics itself. We're going to bring this data to the end user analytics. And then we're already in the process of investigating kind of the AI adoption within our own analytics. We talked about building predictive metrics and analytics and having more automation and approaching eventually kind of our concept of monetization central, where we're able to bring in many other data sets, maybe even customer usage data outside of monetization, and roll those up into automated workflows and KPIs for the different personas. For the AI feature set, Anuradha, why don't you talk a little bit about, I think one of the most interesting use cases is bringing your own agent and how we can support that.
Yeah, I can go a little bit deep into that. We are actually working on setting up the MCP servers in front of our services so that our customers can actually build their own agent, train their own LLM models, and talk to these MCP servers to derive meaningful information. This is helpful at the enterprise level, right? Because our system sits right at the middle from CRM and billing sitting
Right.
other two sides. So you can always have a MCP server in front of your CRM and in front of your billing and bring these data together along with our system to get meaningful information out of it.
Yeah, and I think that's important that we're seeing both use cases, right? The one where we'll adopt AI to help with the predictive analytics for our own analytics, but as a customer using our platform, we want to also support their own adoption of AI and their own business intelligence initiative. So, again, thank you for participating or coming to this webinar. We're always interested in what's some insights that you're looking for. We talked about different things like renewal rate, but we're always on the hunt for new sort of metrics that maybe weren't apparent to us, but you as a customer or you as a prospect or software monetization may be aware of. We're always interested in that. And if it happens out of band and you communicate with us after this webinar, that's fine as well. But Michael, why don't you close it out?
Thanks, Vic, and thank you, Anuradha. It doesn't look like we have any questions, but I know you both have touched upon this a little bit. But Vic, talk about just in general the value of being able to pull entitlement data out of our system into data lakes, and how are some of our customers leveraging that for their own BI initiatives?
Yeah, and we see that certainly with that more advanced use case where they have their own business intelligence group. And it's not just, the product managers, it's also their operations, their C-level that are looking at these reports that sort of track how well they're doing in their businesses, right? And this monetization data is extremely accurate and important for that use case. And so having that data easily shared into those environments where the BI team can then build whatever the specific metric is for their personas is really important. And I would say on top of that, as customers start to adopt more AI and build their own sort of bots and agents on top of those platforms, they want to extend that to this monetization analytics. So providing access to that has been important.
Thanks, Vic. Great points. Vic and Anuradha, thank you so much, as always, for sharing your experience and your insights today. It's always great talking to you both and getting your perspectives on things. And thank you to everyone in the audience for joining us today. As a reminder, if you have any questions or feedback that Vic just referenced, things that you'd like to see, please be sure to reach out after the webinar. And thank you all for joining us, and have a great day. Take care, everybody.